Hello, everybody. My name is Kyle. This is Kyle's Trail Miles, where I talk about all things ultra running and running in general. Today, it is a weekly recap video, so I'm going to go through my training for last week. But before I get into it, I have three things I want to give as a bit of a context for this week as I go through my training. So it is currently middle of February up here in Canada. February can be very hit or miss. But here's the three things I want to talk about first, and it'll give context to what I'm about to say. Number one, we hit an absolute February deep freeze up here. Usually February can be hit or miss, and if it does get cold, it's usually only for a couple of days, and then you can kind of get outside running again. But we hit a 2-week deep freeze that just, every time I looked at the 10-day forecast, it was just another day of freezing, like freezing. No way I can run outside. So anyways, I was kind of, before this deep freeze, I was really enjoying getting outside more and running. We seem to be having a pretty reasonable winter up here. I was kind of done with the treadmill, and then all of a sudden we hit this epic deep freeze, and I just kind of had to wrap my brain around the fact that, okay, you got to go. Like, these are very important weeks, and so you can't control the weather. Get on the treadmill, lock and load, let's go. So that was kind of my mindset going in. I kind of had this bit of a shift, and I was like, you just got to get back into the treadmill mindset. I mean, I have a great setup. I watch movies while I'm on the treadmill, listen to music. Like, I can't beat it, but it's just, you know how it is. We all like running outside. So anyways, so that was my mindset shift, is just, all right, like, lock and load. We're back in for a couple weeks. Let's go. The second one is one of the goals this year, or my main goal, is me and a buddy, or hopefully a couple buddies, are doing a 300-kilometer 5-day fast pack in the Rocky Mountains here where I live. So that's a huge undertaking for me. 300 kilometers over 5 days with how many meters of elevation? I don't even know, probably 20,000 or something. So what that tells me is I have to get some back-to-back long runs in. Now, is the treadmill ideal for that with no elevation? Of course not. I'd rather be out in the hills and whatnot, but I got to start getting these back-to-back long runs, or back-to-back-to-back long runs in. So I figured, you know what? This is my week. I had a long weekend, Friday or Saturday, Sunday, Monday, with very little going on. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to get 3 solid back-to-back-to-back days in just to start this process. So that's sort of number one. And then once I can get outside and, maybe a month, like, I'm hoping to kind of do 1 per month of a solid back-to-back-to-back sort of days. So keep that in mind as I go through this, and I'll touch on that in a minute. And then number 3. Now, this one is a little bit different. And look, you can totally disagree with me. You probably will. Everyone will probably think I'm a total weirdo, and you'll never watch a video of mine again after I say this. I'm no doctor. I have zero education in fitness or physiology or any of that stuff. In fact, I'm probably the last person you should listen to on anything health related. But I can just talk from my own personal experience. And I have this theory in fitness, and it explains why the Courtney Dauwalters and the Kilian Jornets of the world have such success. These people who don't really follow a strict training plan, and to each their own. There's some amazing athletes out there that follow strict training plans. So obviously, what do I know? But I have this theory, and anything we talk about from fitness and the body's adaptation, you've got to think about it from a evolutionary perspective. How did we get here over time, and how does this make sense from an evolutionary and how we survived back in the day, right? So, all that said, here's my theory, okay? And I've thought this for a few years now, since I really got into training really consistently. And I think with consistent training comes this awareness of the ebbs and flows of how your body feels. And the one thing I have noticed, I don't exactly know how to explain this, so I'm probably going to do a poor job, is it's like your body gives you these windows, all right? And just follow me on this now. Your body gives you these windows of time, and they're like they can vary. They're like anywhere from like 4 days to 10 days kind of thing. And you could easily miss them if you weren't paying attention. But your body gives you these windows where it kind of dials back the regulator, because our bodies all have these regulators in them where, I mean, evolutionarily, our bodies are adapted to keep us from injuring ourselves. And so our body kind of tells us we're more tired, or maybe things are sore when maybe they're not as sore as we think they are, because, it needs us to stop or we're going to injure ourselves over time. But every now and then, it just sort of takes that regulator off. And for a brief amount of time, you just feel ridiculous. Like you just, the efforts that you were having struggles with last week, this week you're just out there gliding. You're just rolling. It's magical. It is magical. And we all know that. If you're a runner, if you're listening to this, you're like, I get it. Like, where's this guy going with this? Here's where I'm going with that. When we have these moments of our body opens up, that's our body from an evolutionary perspective saying, all right, let's see how much more this person requires. So back in the day, we're out there hunting, running, I don't know what we're doing, but let's open it up and let's see what this person really, really needs. Let's see what this body really needs to do on a day-to-day basis. So if we don't take advantage of that, if we just like status quo, well, every day I go for a 10K run at 5:30 pace, so that's what I'm going to do today. Man, I feel amazing. Well, this is what I have written in my schedule, so I'm going to do it. Our body kind of says, okay, they didn't really need any more. So you just continue your status quo, small adaptations over time. But if in that window you recognize it and you just wide open that baby, you go to town, right? Full effort, full on, let's go. It sends a clear message to your body saying, we need it, we need more, adapt. And I think that you can gain more adaptation in that week period than you can in the past, 4 months, 6 months, whatever. If you open the jets, rock and roll, baby. And there's also times the opposite, where we all have those lulls where you gotta, it's all ebbs and flows. But when you hit that pocket where your body is opening up saying, let's see what you want to do here, that's magic, baby. And you have to take advantage of it. Those are the weeks where you rock the speed, you rock the distance, you take full advantage of that window. Because when that window ends and you can feel it, now you're back to, right? But if you take advantage of that window properly, now you're cranked up a notch. And I've just always noticed that. And of course, the gold is when a race is in that window. We've all been there where it's like, oh man. And that's the best situation. But yeah, that's my theory. And I've noticed that now for a few years. And whenever I spot it now, I go, baby. I'm all in on that week. And this was that week for me. Like the last week, I can't describe it, but man, my body was like, anyways, let's go through it. So those are the 3 pieces of context I wanted to give you as I go through my last week of training. It's actually Thursday today. We had a long weekend, and so my kids and everything's home. Anyways, I got a pocket of time here, so I'm doing this video, so it'll be kind of a week and a half video. So let's rock and roll. So where are we here? Okay, so Monday the 10th. Now, for anyone sort of new, I'm doing this new workout, the Carolyn Gervin Epic 3 series with my wife, which is like a crazy level up from what we usually do, which is the Iron series. I've been really struggling for the first like 10 of these workouts, but I don't know, this week it's like my body kind of just like accepted, like, okay, this is what we're doing. And it really wasn't a big deal. So Monday we did the shoulders workout, which I like shoulders workout. It's kind of like a, we all have our like, strength. I don't want to use the word strength, but you get the idea. And so that was a good workout. And then I did an evening run for 8K. And one thing that I did at the end of these runs, because again, I do this workout usually at the end of a Carolyn Gervin Epic 3 workout. Like I feel like I'm good. I'm good for the night sort of thing. But this week, I jump on the treadmill and I'm ready to go. And then what I did on every run is the last kilometer, I would crank it up to 12 incline, and I would run it at like 5, 6, 7, 8 kilometers. Like I just keep raising it up. And usually I get to a point where I got to jump off or whatever, but it's like whatever I threw at myself this week, no problem. Like, not to say no problem, but I could handle it. In fact, like my body was just like, yes, like let's go. And the only reason I only did say like an 8-kilometer run here is just from a time perspective. Like at a certain point, I got to start getting my kids to bed and everything. But man, Monday I felt great, full workout, 8 kilometers. And then Tuesday we didn't work out. We did. Yeah. So we did our weight training. I just didn't put in the thing. Can't remember what that was. I think it was full body or legs. And then again, 5 kilometers. But at the end, I would have cranked it up at the end. Let's take a look here just to see. So if I check my heart rate, like at the end here, I'm cranking up to like 164 because again, crank that up and I'm running. And by Tuesday, I hadn't quite recognized that I was in the magic window yet. I was just feeling good, right? And so I'm doing this. I'm like, okay, yeah, like that was pretty reasonable. So then, now I've done it. So then see, that's the problem. You can't be clicking around. So then on Wednesday, so Wednesday I did, I think did I have something going on Wednesday? Yeah, so I had something going on, or I can't remember what was going on, but I try to take Wednesdays as a bit of a day off from running. But this time I did my interval session, which that's one of my goals, is to get an intervals in. And again, like felt great in that interval session. In fact, this is one thing I should do a video on, is this is the best interval session that I've ever had. So what I do is I track, in fact, I think I might have put the numbers in my private notes here. This is when I realized that I was in a bit of a window. Let me just throw in, yeah. Okay, so last year, what I would do is I would record so I do 7 sets of 0.4 miles at 10 miles per hour. And then I rest for 0.2. I just jump off, rest for 0.2. And I do that 7 times after a kilometer warm up. And so on the last one, so on like after the 6th, I want to really check out my heart rate recovery, because I'll get up to like 162, whatever. And then I want to train that heart rate recovery. So you can see here last year, I recorded it. I cut and pasted it into this actually for this video. Now I remember. And so I started off like, okay, I would get down to 113. And then at the end of that set, the very last set, I would get up to 164. So if you sort of take a look at my progression, right? Okay, so now I'm down to like 105 for resting heart rate, 108, 103. Okay, that's good. I'm 103 again, 120. I remember this. I was kind of sick this week. It's funny how your heart rate can just, showcase how you're feeling. But anyways, so now I cracked the 100s, right? Week 9. Now I'm down to 106 as a recovering heart rate on the last segment. 94, 98, right? 162. So I'm making some progress over the course of the 12 weeks. So then this one, see, now I've been clicking around here. So this one, I haven't even done that many interval sessions this year. I've only done like maybe 3 because I was so focused on getting my 70 in. But on this one, my heart rate after the last thing, so here's the thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's right here. So as soon as I jump off this one, right here, then I stand on the treadmill. I do the exact same thing. Like I don't go lay down or anything like that. I just stand on the treadmill and I just try to concentrate on getting my heart rate down as quick as possible before I start the next one. So this time, 91 beats per minute. I got it down to. That's the best I've ever seen. And I was watching on my watch, and I'm just like, holy cow, like this is great. And so you might ask, well, why on the last one would it be higher, right? Like this, oh, did I freeze it up? Why on this one is it only go down to 97? The reason for that is, and I do this on purpose, is the last one I'm concentrating on, okay, drink some water, get my shirt, wipe off my sweat, put on a new hat, or like whatever I got to do. Because I want on this last one, I want to jump off I want to finish my interval session. I want to jump to the side of the treadmill, and then I just stand there. And I do that. So it's like exactly the same each time. And I just stand there, and then I watch the clock go down, I watch my heart rate, and then I just try to concentrate on, breathing. And I think this is so important for, everything, health and fitness in general, but I think especially for ultra marathons, because we do have this where we stop a lot in ultra marathons. Even you get to the top of the hill, or you're in a bit of a Congo line, you wait, or you get to an aid station, or and we got to be able to get our heart rate down quickly. And so, yeah, it was awesome. And that's when I kind of realized, I'm like, whoa, like I feel really, and it was just really like effortless running. Like I was just like, man, I feel really good. And then my heart rate was low. I was like, okay, like, this is a good week. So then at this point, I'm starting to think, okay, long weekend's coming up. I'm going to get in 3 good days. And again, not ideal because it's treadmill and like I get it, but it just made sense. Like I'm coming into a long weekend. I got nothing going on. And I'm like, all right, like I feel great. Like let's do this. So Thursday, we do another weight training, and this is like our 3rd one now for the week. My goal's 4. So we do evening weight training, and then I do an evening run. Same thing at the end. I crank it up, and I'm flying up there, get my heart rate just jacked up. So that's Thursday. And again, the only thing limiting me is just time. Like I felt so good, like, which is so crazy. Like normally, again, after I'm done these Carolyn Gervin workouts, it's like my whole body's just like, oh man. But this week I just was like, jump on the trail, like let's go. Like every single one of those runs, I was like, I could just keep going. Like if I didn't have to get my kids to bed, and my wife goes to bed and the treadmill's like pretty loud, so like, but there was almost every single night I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get the kids to bed, and then I'm gonna come jump on the rower or the bike because they're pretty quiet. And then I just didn't, but I thought about it, which is like half the battle. So anyways, full body workout on, what is that, okay, so this is where the good stuff starts happening. So Friday night is good, weight workout, and then a 5K run. And the 5K run on the Friday was purposeful because I knew Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I was going to go after it. So I'm like, okay, let's just kind of, ease up a little bit. But again, right at the end, high incline, let's rock and roll. So then Saturday rolls around. I do a full body workout, which if anybody's done any Carolyn Gervin workouts, full body means legs with a sprinkle of upper body. So a lot of squats, lunges. So my legs were already pretty fatigued after that, but I did that pretty early. Took a couple hours, had some lunch, just, did some stuff around the house. And then I'm like, all right, I'm going to do 30 Ks. So I jump on, I do 30 Ks, and I felt really good. The only thing that was weird about this 30 Ks was my heart rate was definitely elevated a little more than normal. Like right around kilometer 15, I looked down on my heart rate's like 140. I'm like, whoa, like for the speed I was going, it should have been in that like low 130s, but I think it was because of the full body workout earlier. Like my legs were pretty fatigued, but the 30 kilometers were pretty straightforward. Like, didn't feel, I think I watched like 3 movies too. I finished watching Speed, the original Speed. Then I watched Predator. And then I watched the start of Fast and Furious, I think. And what I like to do on the treadmill, if I'm not watching sports, which I do often, but I like to watch movies with subtitles on. Movies that I've seen, like old 80s, awesome movies that I don't have to like crazy pay attention to. I just, and then I listen to music as well. And I find that just like, I love that. And then the key, of course, on the treadmill is you can't just like have the TV like in front of you like this because it messes up your neck. Like you got to angle the TV kind of down where you would normally look if you were running. And so I got an awesome setup, like I custom built this setup where the TV is like perfectly angled, and so it's like I can just cruise along, and it's awesome. Anyways, 30Ks was great. Oh yeah, and that's the other thing too. This was such a great weekend because the last like 3 or 4 weekends have been just stuff going on, like stuff, right? We all have stuff, and this was the first weekend in a while where I just had like nothing going on, like nothing, and so it was great. I could just really plan my weekend around my runs, and obviously my kids and I do a bunch of stuff, but again, like I could plan that all around, like nothing was set by time or anything. So yeah, so anyways, where am I now? So I do my 30K. Okay, so now I know, okay, 30K in the books. Let's, I got 2 more days, like let's go. So I'm 17K to 70K for the week. So then on Sunday we do a legs workout, and this thing was ridiculous. I mean, this is the craziest leg workout I've ever done in my life, because it targeted just one leg for like 15 minutes. And it was, I think this might have been the pyramid one too, where like, anyways, I won't get into it, but it was like, it was crazy. At the end of this workout, my legs have never been this sore. I probably say that every time, but like this one was the craziest one I've ever done. And so I get off that, and then we did that at 12:47, and then I didn't get on the treadmill till 6:45 because my legs were just like, they were done. And so I get on the treadmill. This of the whole week was the only run that was like very challenging. I wanted no part of this run. My legs were so sore. 2 days in a row of leg workouts plus the 30 from the day before. Like I was not loving this one. But I got on. I got it done. Reasonable pace, but I did jump off quite a bit just for like 10-15 second little rest breaks here and there, especially in the last like 5 kilometers. But whatever, man. Got it done, and I was good. Now this is where I told you about like that window, right? So at this point I'm thinking to myself, okay, maybe I'm just, getting a little bit fitter, right? But this is where it kind of ends now. Like that was a tough run. And so I'm thinking, okay, like how's tomorrow going to go? Who knows? So that's the end of the week. I'm going to start on sort of the next week. So anyway, so I nailed it. Probably one of my best weeks I've ever had, certainly inside ever. Maybe even as a whole. The only thing missing is elevation, but got in my 70, got 5 40-minute workouts in, and they were like max effort. Plus I got my intervals, plus I got 2, 1 good long run and 1 reasonable long run. Like I nailed it. Perfect week. Probably one of my best weeks ever. So then it's a long weekend. So we cruise into Monday. And I don't really know how Monday's going to go. Like Sunday, that run, that was tough. So then we get into Monday. It's an upper body workout, which is good. So then I take a bit of time because again, I wanted to rest a bit because like the yesterday's run was challenging. So I jump on the treadmill, 5:06, and I wanted to do 21K. That was my plan, a half marathon. But man, that was magic. Like I don't know if I've ever felt that good on a treadmill run, maybe ever. Like I get going and I'm just like, where was yesterday? Like it was like a fresh new day. Like my legs just felt amazing, like 0 fatigue from the day before, like just like it was really amazing. And so I just start rolling and I'm doing good. And then at the end what happened was, and even like jump offs, like this would have been, probably just go to the bathroom a couple times, but I mean, heart rate was reasonable, like in the 132, after an hour, my heart rate's always going to jump up to like in the low 130s. But even then, I'm having 132, 137, like I'm just feeling great. Like I'm just like, yeah, no problem, man. And so then what I thought is, okay, so I'm running at 7 miles per hour. And then the last kilometer, once I hit 20, I pumped it up to 9 because I thought I'm going to bust out this last kilometer. So I'm running at 9, and like I'm feeling great. Like I'm just like cruising along. And so I get to 21 kilometers. And so I only got, you know, point 0.1 to go and I got my half marathon. But I was like, all right, I'm going to crank it up to 10 and I'm going to do like point 0.2 just to make sure I get, you know, get enough. So I crank it up to 10, which is my interval speed. And I was just like, I'm going to finish out this kilometer. Like I feel great. Like, yeah, my heart rate's up there. Like it's like 170, but it was like, it was just so smooth. And I just like, my body was just the way it was reacting. It was just like, oh yeah, like this is where we need to be. We love this. Keep going. And at some point, like your mind sets in and you're like, okay, like let's not get crazy here. But man, talk about confidence for our fast pack trip, because if I can feel like this after 2 days, and I get it, like the first 2 days were nothing compared to what we're going to be out there, but like I don't know if I've ever felt this good ever, especially on in the treadmill. There's no way, never. Like I felt amazing. And so yeah, so 3 good days of, you know, back to back kind of long runs, feeling great. And yeah, and so then where are we now? We're into this week. Yeah, so full body workout, 22K. So then Tuesday we do another weight training, and this one was, oh man, I gotta start putting them in there, but I can't remember what it was. It doesn't matter. And then I did 8:33, and the only reason I did 8:33 was because so okay, so this is again this magic window. Normally I run it at 7 miles per hour. Like I'm not I'm not here to go crazy on the treadmill. That's why I do my interval session. Like in the winter on the treadmill, I just kind of want to, you know, keep my heart rate low, cruise along. But I was like, man, I feel great. Like I'm going to crank it up to 8. And sometimes on the treadmill, if I run fast, I'll get a little tingle in my hamstrings. I don't get it on the road ever. But if I try to run fast for prolonged periods of time on the treadmill, I'll get just a little something on my lower hamstring. And so I just got to be like a little bit careful. I try not to like go too fast for too long on the treadmill. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to crank it up to 8 and just roll for, because I was just going to do 5K. And so I'm at 8 miles per hour. My legs, my hamstring, everything's feel great. Like I'm just cruising. And then, yeah. And then a buddy of mine on Strava, Paul, if he's watching this, he did 8.3 kilometers, I think that day, at like 5 something pace. And so then as I'm running, I hit like 4.5 kilometers. I'm like, geez, I feel amazing. And I'm like, well, now I have to do like, you know, the same as him in less time. And so then, I mean, I know it's treadmill and it doesn't really matter. Like, and who knows if it's even accurate, but it was still fun to have that goal. So he did 8.3 at 5 something. And so then I did 8.33 in, anyways, you know, just the dumb stuff we do. So yeah, there you go. So that was my week. And so then last night, which was Wednesday, went to a hockey game with my kids and just, you know, kind of had stuff going on. And I thought, you know, I can't just like keep pushing this too hard. And yesterday was like the last day of like just disastrous weather. Today, which is Thursday, it's like in the pluses outside, and the weather now just gets ridiculous the other way. Like we're up in like 14, 15, like degrees Celsius, sunny, like next week. Like it's going to be amazing. Super windy here is the only downside, but whatever. If I go down in the valley, you know, who cares? After the minus 20, minus 30s that we've had. So yeah, so today, can't wait to get out. I'm going to pack my bag and go out right after work and get outside for some runs, try to get some elevation in, and hopefully whatever this little window of magic that I got going on here continues. So there you go. That's my week. You know, one more in the books. And so my goal now is like every kind of month, calendar month, I want to put together like a back-to-back-to-back long runs. Like who knows what that looks like, whether it's 20K, 30K, maybe I'll sprinkle in a 40K, but I want to get 3 good long runs together. Excuse me. And I figure if I do that once a month ish, until our fast packing adventure, my legs should be, reasonably ready to rock for that. So I don't know. That's my plan. Awesome week. Can't wait to get outside. Thanks, everyone. Talk to you later.